Oh, yeah. What up, everybody? It's your boy Brian. It's your boy Matt. We are back for another episode of Horror Movie Club, the show where we all agree to watch a horror movie. That's never behind a paywall. It's always something that's easily accessible, something that you can watch on Tubi, with commercials, or on YouTube or something like that. It's never on Netflix. It's never on Prime. It's never on Shudder. It's always something that, if you want to watch it before the show and then join us in the discussion, that's cool. Or if you will just like listen to the discussion and think, damn, that's something I want to watch, then you can go and click the link that's in the description below, and it will take you right to the movie free of charge.
Yep.
So tonight we're going to be discussing Jesus Franco's 1970 version of Count Dracula. This is interesting for a number of reasons, historical reasons, really. It's the only film where Christopher Lee is playing Dracula, and it's not a Hammer movie. This was if I remember correctly, a Italian, German, Spanish co-production. And Jesus Franco was selected as the director. Jesus Franco, I'm going to be talking quite a bit about him because he's a really, really interesting figure in the world of horror, maligned by many, somewhat justifiably, but also the creator of some absolutely incredible movies. Like his movies usually, actually, I would say tonight's movie is somewhere in the middle of his repertoire. I mean, because when his movies are bad, you can't watch them. God, I'm trying to think. He did like this Ripper of Notre Dame movie.
Oh, really?
And it's mostly just like a camera following him through the streets because Franco loved to put himself in his own movies. I think, not out of any kind of sense of narcissism, but, it's the old, he always at least has a cameo. And, but anyway, real quick, just wanted to do a quick little look at the week in horror. We had some absolutely incredible news. I regret to inform that it came from Collider, of all places. Is not. So you don't mistake this for an endorsement, okay? But they broke a major story, and here it is. George Romero years ago, I remember in an interview, was saying that he believed that he knew that there was a 3-hour cut of Martin out there. Martin being his vampire movie from the 70s, considered by many to be his best film, including myself, and definitely a horror classic and a masterpiece. He was looking for that 3-hour cut, was, saying like, hey, if anybody happens to find this in their basement or their attic, hook a brother up. Unfortunately, he passed away before that could happen. You were going to say something, Matt?
No, I was just like, that's funny. Hook a brother up.
Yeah, no, well, that's my translation, right? Well, since his passing, his widow has been going through the archives and has been finding some extraordinary things. And this is truly historic. This is not a 3-hour cut of Martin. This is a 3.5-hour cut of Martin. So this is like 3.5 hours. And evidently it's all in black and white. So that means that the flashback sequences, which are in black and white, aren't going to stand out quite as much. And I'm just dying, like any hardcore, heavy-duty horror fan, dying to frickin' see this thing. So we know it exists. We know it's on the way. Hey, what up, Jay Dalla? We know it. I'm hoping that rather than just going directly to like Shudder or some service like that, because they released The Amusement Park, which was a excellent like 50-minute movie that Romero made, was actually commissioned to make by his local Lutheran church.
Oh wow!
About how our society treats the elderly. And I highly recommend that you watch it, but it's one of those movies that when you watch it, you're never going to want to watch it again. Because it makes you so uncomfortable. And of course, that's the point.
Right.
So yeah, if you have a service like Shudder or something like that, go watch that. Check it out. It's freaking amazing. Anyway, I'm hoping that this will get a release to like the Alamo Draft House or someplace like that. You know, now that Romero's gone, there's all this interest in him. And people are digging up old scripts and saying, oh, well, you know, oh, we found an old George Romero script. Whatever. Homeboy was trying to get, like, I mean, project after project after project made, and he could never get anything off the ground until the zombie boom happened, and then the only thing that he was allowed to make were zombie movies. And to the point where when you get to Survival of the Dead, you see like a serious deterioration in quality.
Yeah.
And luckily he didn't get to, I mean, I wish he was still around. Wish he fucking quit smoking. Anybody out there, if you don't smoke, don't start. If you do smoke, fucking quit, man. It's just a stupid way to die. He was at the point where he was starting to do like real harm to his legacy. And he passed away before he could do irreparable harm, the kind that like Dario Argento, I think, has done. Because Argento's at the point now where like his shit movies, when you put them against like his great or even good movies, starting to that balance has tipped severely. So if you're like me and you tell people, oh, you're a horror fan, you got to go check out Dario Argento, odds are they'll take a look at one of his more recent movies and be like, oh man, he sucks, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, anyway, I'm super psyched to see this.
Matt, I've never seen it. It looks interesting though. It is an absolute must. I've got the Blu-ray Anchor Bay edition. No, I'm sorry, the Blue Underground. I've got the DVD. This is like one of those movies that deserves to be much better known than it is. And hopefully this will give it a new audience and a critical reappraisal and all that other good stuff. So anyway, Matt, what's going on, brother? Did you watch any horror movies this week other than Count Dracula? Just Count Dracula, man. That was the only one I had really had time for, but I enjoyed it. I did hear some new horror news though. I heard that they're making a new Wolfman movie, Universal.
Really?
Allegedly Ryan Gosling is going to play the Wolfman.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean he's a decent actor.
Yeah, he is.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. I guess maybe they're gonna try. Well, see, that's the thing, man. They fucked up. Whoa, what up, Sim?
What up, Sim?
Yeah, that's right. I got something in the mail today, and of course I don't have it handy. But anyway, I got Nat the Merc today. It looks sweet. Comes with all this cool stuff, and yeah. Anyway, well done, Sim. Well done. And Beacon and Scots and Ink Spots. Yeah, it looks really good. And I got a really badass sketch card too.
Oh, I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? Universal, they fucked up with The Mummy, right? Yeah. They were basically what they wanted was like the Marvel universe for the Universal monster movies, and I was up for that.
Yeah, me too. I'm always up for that.
right?
It can never catch traction though, you know. And they've done so many different styles too. You know what I mean? They got Tom the Fuck Cruise in there and Russell the Fuck Crowe, and they still couldn't get it going. You know what I mean?
No.
You got Tom Cruise playing fucking practically modern day Van Helsing, and you got Russell Crowe playing Dr. Jekyll. I mean, you saw the movie, right?
Yeah. And to tell the truth, casting Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is an inspired piece of casting. The problem with The Mummy was that it's a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad actor. I know he gets a bad rap because he's a Scientologist and all that stuff. But you got to divorce that stuff, the art from the artist, and the performer from the performance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they fucked it up horribly. It bombed rightfully, and mostly because they didn't make it a horror movie. They made it a action adventure film like the previous remake of The Mummy.
Yeah, totally.
And speaking of George Romero, they didn't know what to do with that. They actually had commissioned screenplays from both Romero and Clive Barker, and they ended up not using either of those, and went the action movie direction, which was okay, but it's just I hate the whole that was a period where they were like sucking the horror out of horror movies and just turning them into like action adventure films. So yeah,
it's fine balance. It's for me personally, I like the first Mummy movie, the newer one with Fraser. I thought that was fun.
It's alright. Yeah,
I think that one character lends itself to the Indiana Jonesian type feel because you're going into the pyramids and whatnot, but not every fucking character needs to be that way. And it's hard, like if they were to remake that one, make it a little more scary. Like she wasn't scary to me, the Mummy. I just didn't really find her that scary.
No, she's hot, I think.
And the reason why they picked a female is because director said that X-Men Apocalypse had came out, and they already had Apocalypse, and he's like basically a mummy, and he's from Egypt, but they chose to go with that route. And then the sequel was supposed to have her boyfriend, another mummy, but it never. But the thing is, when you do shit, you gotta kind of hit it hard and do your best. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Don't just, I'm gonna do. If it was their idea to do the female led one from the get, they should have done that. That's fine. But they changed the story around, and it just got tweaked too much. You know what I mean? And then I don't know. It should be scarier too.
Should be way scarier. I mean, mind you, the original version of The Mummy, the Universal horror movie,
Karloff.
Yeah, isn't that good. It's basically just a remake of Dracula.
Yeah.
Which wasn't that good, right? Which is pretty boring. And the Mummy as we know it was actually the one that was established in the sequels. So you have Imhotep in the first movie, and then Hand of the Mummy and all the Universal sequels going forward. You had Karis. And Karis is the mummy that's like wrapped in rotting cerements, the one that's like dragging his foot and like coming at you slow, and completely virtually indestructible. That was, for instance, the Hammer remake of The Mummy was really smart because they remade that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't want to see the mummy walking around outside of his rotting cerements, I think. But whatever.
He turns into Apocalypse at that point, or Dracula. He's got to be like, and if he's gonna turn into that, you gotta fuck him up again, and he has to be creepy again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Somehow, and that's a hard job for a writer to basically break him down every fucking movie and turn him into a rotting corpse that's you don't see too much, but you see. And then give him the power back and make him a badass, and then take it away from him. And then you're obviously creating a predictable formula for each movie, and then it's basically kind of boring at that point too.
I think they should have taken the Blumhouse approach rather than make like $100 million, $200 million movie. Make like $20 million movies, mid-range budget movies, and make them like balls out horror movies.
Scary as fuck.
Like scary as fuck.
Yeah, all of them need to do that first.
All of them.
Just from the beginning. Don't go fucking full action horror. Make them tight, scary as fuck, and really low budget. Right. You know what I mean? And then maybe get a decent actor to bring the butts to the seats. You know what I mean? I heard The Rock was almost played the Wolfman too. He was like the one that was spearheading it for a while, but then he dropped off, and now it's Ryan Gosling. There's a director too. If you Google it, it's in there. Like they've been working on it for a while.
Well, I liked the John Johnstone version much more than it deserves.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I love that movie too. And
one of my favorites.
I don't it's just like, it's one of those pictures where I'm like, I just remember sitting there in the theater thinking like I'm enjoying this way more than I should.
Right.
It's really not that great, but I'm getting a kick out of it.
Yeah.
And my God, Benicio, you couldn't have asked for a better Wolfman than him.
Right.
And the Rick Baker effects, of course, were freaking fantastic. The scene where he's rampaging through London is exhilarating.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like, the special effects transformation guys. Let me get that budget and give it to Rick Baker's team, and let's have him do it all in camera like they did for fucking American Werewolf in London.
Right, but the studios aren't comfortable with that sort of a thing.
Nah, never again. It's like they never will do that.
Well, the reason that we got Baby Yoda is because Jon Favreau was like, I'll shoot 2 takes. I'll shoot one with the puppet, one for CGI.
Yeah.
That's the only way that they would accept that.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, the puppet ended up being 100 times cooler than any kind of crappy CGI. Way better, right? It wouldn't. People would not have become attached to that character the way that they did and been enchanted by that character as they were if it had been a fucking animated GIF. But
and Universal, like they're like one of those last dying studios. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't have too many IPs left, and they're still trying to fucking crack that universe because they're sitting on a gold mine with that. It just has to be done right and cheap. They're like, just don't throw money on it. Look for the talent. Keep it tight. You know what I mean?
They're sitting on a gold mine, but where they fucked up? Where they fucked up really hard? They fucked up years ago when they took all of their movies off of TV. They took all their movies off of TV, right? Because it used to be what was known as the shock theater package, which went to like every TV station around the country. And it consisted of 32 Universal monster movies.
Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, definitely.
They yanked all of those off of TV and put them on VHS, and that's the only way that you could see them. So they lost a generation of fans. Yeah,
like those the first movies, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature in the Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, those should all be just free all the time. And just for multiple reasons, and that just keeps the stuff fresh. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
You're gonna bring everybody in. They're gonna learn. They're gonna get a whole new feeling of what a black and white movie feels like. And what that style of horror feels like.
Right.
It's totally it's in its own genre.
Absolutely. And remember, once color came along, a lot of people thought that was the end of horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
It was so associated with with the black and white look and the use of light and shadow. Of course, then Hammer just fucking killed it, and the Italian Mario Bava just killed it with the color and proved them wrong. So that brings us to tonight's movie, Count Dracula, by the infamous Jess Franco. Jess Franco, interesting case. He is a Spanish director who comes from a family of geniuses. He himself had a genius level IQ. And all of his cousins and nephews and, brothers and sisters, all of his relatives, they're all, like molecular biologists or rocket scientists or, university professors, academics, that sort of a thing. And he was always just like crazy old Uncle Jess, and who made a buttload of horror movies, about 20 of which are remakes of Les Yeux Sans Visage, the classic French horror film Eyes Without a Face. And he was also a hired gun. He did a lot of smut. He did a lot of he did. There's some of his movies, for instance, The Bare-Breasted Countess, which I highly recommend. that has both a hard version and a soft version. That's to say, because at the time there was a big market for a porn because it was like a new thing in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So you could show this stuff before. So there was a big appetite for it, and so he would put he would shoot like X-rated versions of his movies and then like cut those scenes out and have like an R-rated print. And these days
the porn cut.
The porn cut, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, if you need penetration and cum shots in your vampire movie, you got it.
What if every movie was like that? The porn cut.
Oh, it would be hysterical. It'd be it'd be so great.
Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. There's a version of the perverse countess that's like that too. But anyway, no, there's not a porno version. There's not a porno cut of Count Dracula. So Christopher Lee at the time already had played Dracula a couple of times in the Hammer movies, and this was an attempt to kind of cash in on those. And they did something really smart. They hired Christopher Lee, and they decided that they were going to stick to the story, that they were going to basically do an adaptation of the novel without all the boring parts. Matt, have you ever read Dracula by Bram Stoker?
Yeah.
And what did you think?
Well, I mean, for the time, it was written, kind of ahead of its time as far as the way the way it's written, because it's all done through journal entries. So, I think Coppola nailed that part better than anybody, but it's kind of hard to translate towards film.
Yeah,
but in here there was a lot of stuff that was in the book. There was a lot of they took some liberties too from the book as well in this film. So everybody, there's never a definitive, perfect, Dracula movie. You know what I mean?
It would be impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible, and it
would be boring as hell.
I was just thinking right now before this, on a side note, like, damn, if I was I'd love to make my own Dracula movie. You know what I mean? And
of course,
I wouldn't keep it exactly as the same as the book either. I would just like kind of keep it there, and whenever it kind of gets boring, I'd juice it up, like add some fucking juice to it in certain spots. But it's pretty cool though, dude. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And we've seen and that's the thing, we've seen a billion versions of this story. Right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that that just fascinates me about storytelling. Like, what is it about human beings that there are certain stories that we need to be told over and over and over and over?
Yeah.
Frankenstein is the most adapted novel of all time. Dracula is a close second. Right? So like there was like the Netflix series, which was Mark Gatiss, I think, wrote it. The guy who did Sherlock. And I loved it to pieces. I thought it was
pretty cool. I really liked the beginning of it.
Yes.
Certain spots were really cool. And for me now, I'm looking for the liberties that they take in the story. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because after reading the book and seeing, I've seen so many Dracula movies and watched so many documentaries and read documentaries, and just I love Dracula, and Vlad are like one of my favorite characters just in history and in fiction. So I love Dracula.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
There's a lot you could do with the character, and I'm always down to watch a new one, and this is one of them because But yeah, man, it was cool to see what they did with this and what they had to to add to the table, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and my goodness, man, you've got an amazing cast in this freaking thing. You've got, like I said, Christopher Lee as Dracula, best Dracula ever. Can't ask for a better one, in my opinion. He remains the GOAT as far as I'm concerned. Some people would say Lugosi.
Mine's Ullman, but I would say this guy, this guy's right almost there. You know what I mean? Obviously, he is Dracula as far as I'm concerned. And in the book, when you're reading it, I see this Dracula in this movie. Like when I was watching this movie, Count Dracula, certain scenes from the book, I pictured him, and he even kind of looks like Vlad a little bit too. He also played Vlad the Impaler, right?
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Motherfucker
Really?
played Vlad the Impaler too. He's like, motherfucker, I'm Dracula. That's why I'm like, dude, he is the Dracula.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Which one was that? Was this towards the end of his career? Was this something that
I think it might have been around this time, but I'm not sure when it was. But I've seen like images of it online and little scenes. I think back in the day on YouTube, but I haven't watched it yet. And it was just it was just cool, like with the white mustache, in here. I love how they like showed him how they showed him Benjamin Button his ass, getting younger throughout how he does in the novel.
Yeah.
And I love the castle. I think they actually used like the Poinar Castle, one of Vlad the Impaler's many castles from Wallachia. I think they used that in this movie. That's what it looked like, or at least exterior shots, like in the intros and some of the stuff. I was like, that's fucking badass. I would have done that. Like, there's little things like I'm saying, like if I'd film a Dracula movie, I would do that, like to kind of,
right.
Like how he invited him in. I think, and in the book, it's him driving the stagecoach when he picks up Jonathan Harker and transports him to the castle.
Yes,
and they showed him doing it in here, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. They nailed that,
Yep. And
I hate the ending. I hate the ending of this, and I hate the ending of the book too. You know what I mean? And they kind of, because he just goes out like a bitch. He always does. Dracula.
He always does.
It's like, no.
But that's the thing.
But that's
the thing is you got to catch him when he's helpless.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're fucked.
Yeah.
Right. Because we see what happens in the Hammer movies. Also, what I always love when people get physical with them.
Yeah.
And when he gets physical with people, I mean, he just manhandles bitches.
Yeah, he fucks them up. He's like that's Christopher Lee's Dracula. Like, well, this ain't Bram Stoker. This is fucking Chris Lee. I'm gonna hammer you, Dracula.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, you're gonna really try to run me through with a sword? I'm gonna take the sword out of your hands and I'm gonna snap that shit in two right in front of your eyes.
There's a scene in this movie where he's like getting all pimp dad out, and he's got his hat, and he's walking about town, and there's this whore on the street, and she's like, "Oh, hey, governor," and he's like,
"Yes," and he just gives her like
walking, this... like, "Bitch, I can drink your blood. You're fucking tainted as fuck. Get the fuck out of here."
He's like, "Yeah, that's right here." He's like.
He just does a little Elvis facial like lip impersonation. He just like,
yeah. She's like,
I don't want your blood. I don't want your AIDS.
Lord.
I don't want your fucking 1800s fucking AIDS.
I got higher standards than you, biatch. Yeah.
That was just a funny little moment, dude.
It is. He's and that's the thing. It's just like he has more refined tastes. Shall we say? But that withering look that he gives her there is priceless. And here is the castle that you were talking about. One of the things that's awesome about this movie is the locations. The locations are freaking amazing. Jess Franco was great at doing that. He was great at finding these old castles to shoot in. And all of the interiors are shot in castles. So there's like no sets in this movie.
It's pretty gangster, dude, and it feels heavy. Like when he goes down to the to Dracula's sleeping lair in the bowels of the castle, it feels heavy. Like it's big. You know what I mean? And you feel like you're in a castle, especially like in the beginning of the movie. That's some of my favorite parts too. Is the beginning of the story. I really like the whole intro part, when Harker goes there and he has to deal with the brides and they describe the castle and they also kept the fact that he sleeps in wooden one of the boxes in the book, right? And then I think there are caskets in here. That was cool in the dirt.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic. Oh yes. Sim in the Peanut Gallery is like Vincent, just putting that out here. Interesting note, Vincent Price was actually approached to play Van Helsing in this.
That would have been badass.
that would have been really badass.
Fucking epic, dude.
Yeah, it would. Instead, of course, we got Herbert Lom, who's fantastic.
He was good, dude. I almost felt that like Anthony Hopkins kind of channeled this specific Helsing in Bram Stoker's a little bit. There was like certain spots that reminded me of that movie. Little things he did, little mannerisms too, and even some of the words spoken.
that like turned up to like 11 because Anthony Hopkins is, you know, one of the great intentionally hammy actors.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like he's not like Vincent Price. Vincent Price was just a hammy actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Anthony Hopkins, you know, I mean, he just, you know, I mean, he's chewing the scenery in the Francis Coppola.
Yeah, he is.
which is cool, which is fine. Yeah. I'm fine with it. I think one of the things that makes that movie so entertaining are its excesses.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Simon says, I enjoyed Dracula Untold. It was different.
Oh yeah, that would be that was the movie I was waiting my whole life for. So I had high expectations to say for that movie. And I mean, I own it. I liked it too, but I wish it was rated R. There's a lot of things I would have changed about it, but what they, it could.
It's a little too underworld for my liking. If you know what I'm saying.
No, I feel you. It's not but that's what I wanted out of it. You know what I mean? I wanted that underworld. I wanted Vlad the Impaler becomes the Dracula from the novel, becomes a fucking Marvel Comics badass fucking sword wielding motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted out of it. And he you know, and they were setting up that dark universe action thing, but you know, you just don't rate it PG-13, and the ending sucked. It was. We'll do that one day.
Okay. But by the way, Sim, if you want to hop in, link is in the in the DM group. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is the version that's on Tubi, by the way, much nicer than this version I'm showing screenshots from. But the reason I wanted to show this is because it says eine Produktion der Corona Filmproduktion in München. That's to say Munich, and Madrid. And you can see also Madrid and Roma. So this was a co-production between those three countries. And Jess Franco was the man to do this because Jess Franco was a polyglot. Do you know what a polyglot is, Matt?
No, I do not.
A polyglot is a mofo who can speak like 20 languages.
Damn, that's crazy.
So his crews were often mixed. And that's to say people from different parts of Europe for the most part. And so you might have like a German cameraman, and you'd have like a French lighting crew, and so on and so forth, and actors who were international, and he could speak to everybody.
That's crazy
because he knew
that's
knew
awesome.
Every language. Yeah,
wish I could do that. There's
God.
That Wishmaster actor, the guy that plays Wishmaster from the first movie, he could speak like 7 languages. That actor.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's in a gang of shit. He's usually just a background guy, you know, like in Crystal Skull, he's like a Russian, and over here he's like a gangster ass fucking like Italian, and then here he's like a fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not Robert Davi. It's I'm trying to remember his name now.
I forgot his name, dude.
Yeah, me too. But he's one of those guys that's just like he's done well for himself because he's in a lot of shit.
And I'm like, damn, I'd love to be able to speak 7 languages. That'd be
my God.
Awesome.
Dude, if we could start like jacking shit into our brains Matrix style,
like,
first thing would be like Kung Fu, and then like every language conceivable. Oh man, it would be awesome. But yet it's one of the things I think that's really interesting about this movie is the fact that it was a co-production like that, and here's one of those beautiful castles. I think this is the Wallachian one that you were talking about.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
One thing I wish they didn't. I think they cut out of this movie that the whole like Demeter. You know, the Voyage of the Demeter.
Yes.
And they were gonna make a whole fucking movie about that with
I know
Viggo Mortensen, where he was gonna play Dracula. I heard. And
Neil Marshall Stevens was going to direct. I was hungry for that.
I was like, yeah, that's some new shit right there. They haven't done that.
Oh my God,
that would have been. And again, that could be the fucking that could be the movie Universal could make right now with Viggo. They could just do Voyage of the Demeter, and it could be something fresh, new, small, contained, just on a fucking on a ship. You know what I mean? It could be like an art house. Like, dude, come on, bro.
That's the best chapter in the entire book, I think. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's, you know,
but because the problem with the Bram Stoker novel is we don't get enough Dracula. Right?
No, he's a spectral phantasm that's you know, in the shadows the whole time. You know, less said, and you get like that's kind of how it is in this movie a little bit. I mean, you get him in the beginning, like in the book. That's why I like the beginning of the book a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
You get the old white hair with the long, you know, white handlebar mustache and long fingernails, climbing down the side of the wall, climbing down the side of the castle. You know.
Oh my God, hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Hanging upside down, like crawling along the surface of the castle like a freaking lizard. Yeah, that's just yeah, that's such a great creepy image.
Yeah, dude.
I remember as a kid seeing this, and it blew my mind because I had already read both Frankenstein and Dracula. Frankenstein, I love to pieces. Dracula, except
and the old English in there, so like they're bordering. You know what I mean? Like there's some big words in there if you're not used to it. You know what I mean? And then the whole like new story, like the whole like style of storytelling through journal entry, it's a little different. It could be, you know, if you don't read stuff like that much.
Frankly, the way it's done, it's clunky.
Yeah, it is. I ain't gonna lie.
No. I mean, you know, and there's certain books that are classics because this is the English lit major and me coming out again. There are certain books that are classics because of their historical significance, and there's certain books that are classics because they're just fucking amazing. Yeah. Right? And Dracula's somewhere in between.
No, I agree. I totally agree with you.
That's just my opinion, but The Voyage of the Demeter, that had me nailed to my seat because even though you never see Dracula, you feel him.
Yeah.
It's this oppressive presence, right? And the people are just dropping dead one at a time on the boat.
Did you know that the shadow is the main influence is Dracula?
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
And that's how like the shadow is seen as a force of nature. Yeah, where he's just a force of evil. Yeah, Batman too.
Yeah, he dresses up like Dracula, basically. That's why I always, you know, I mean, if I ever got the chance to write Batman, I would love to give him a little bit more of a Phantom of the Opera aspect. I mean,
that's the way you got to go. I mean, if you want to do something good with Batman, I think from the get you have to do that. That's what my brain would tell me to do, but it's like, fuck. It's hard too, though, with all the gadgets, all the James Bondy and shit in there too, and just all the gadgeteering he does, and it's in the fighting and stuff. It's a hard character to tackle. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't wrap my head around him.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, I would try to like do Bruce Wayne as his facade, and then Batman is the real guy.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely.
But it's the real person, but he's always in costume.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Nobody ever gets to see the real guy.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I would do. But I mean, that's the thing that's great about that character is he's so simple. He can be reinvented.
Yeah.
It's an inexhaustible character. Yeah. And Dracula's kind of like that too.
Yeah.
And it's a story that can just, we've seen a lot of versions of it. But yeah, there's certain moments, like you mentioned, it opens just like the novel where, he arrives in Jonathan Harker arrives in Romania. And of course there are some creepy villagers just staring at him because they know where you're going. Now, this guy that he's chatting with, who's also a foreigner, says that, it's St. George's night, which made me think St. George's night. Does this have another name? Is he referring to Walpurgisnacht or something like that? I'm not sure. Anybody
St. George
in the Peanut
Dragon?
Right, but I'm thinking, is there another name for that? Do we know that under another name? And because usually most nights that have some kind of supernatural significance have a lot of different names because they have a supernatural significance, throughout the world. Like we were talking about Halloween and Dia de los Muertos and that sort of a thing.
And that goes back far. That goes back to the Middle East, like St. George.
Right. Good stuff. Comic Skater, what up? He says, "Hail all, crack pack every day." Irie.
Good stuff.
Wow. Yeah, most definitely. We love the crack pack. And AR-15 orangutan. Oh yeah, man! Can't wait for that to make a bucket load of money, so then I can file my lawsuit against Mo Pigs and clean him out. No, it's all good, man. Oh man. Right, he he can't get a coach that goes right there. Nobody's gonna just take him right to the castle. So they take him to a crossroads, and that's where the coachman shows up. And the coachman is very obviously, although it's like in the novel, it's never said. It's just very obvious. It's fucking Dracula.
Yeah, right. Creepy ass motherfucker.
And then there's this wonderful scene in the novel where the coach gets stopped by like a pack of wolves.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? And he steps down and he gives them that look like, don't fuck with me.
Hey, bitches.
And, yeah. Bitches.
like that one like that whore in the street. He's like,
yeah. Bitch, please. You're not good looking enough to be in my stable.
Oh, this fool right here. The eyes.
Right? Yeah. And now, of course, the thing that's kind of silly about the scene is that, well, here are the wolves.
Oh, Sim said, it's the shadow. The shadow knows.
The shadow knows. Oh, yeah. If you ever got a chance to listen to those old radio shows, especially the ones with Orson Welles, I highly recommend those. And then there's there's our boy Razor Fist, who is like a shadow scholar and actually did a radio show version of a unrecorded shadow script.
Oh yeah, I listened to some of that. That dude's good at that shit, dude. He's got a YouTube channel too, just dedicated to it, called the Shadowcast. I just started subbing to that. Like, oh wow, man, that character is awesome, man. The Shadow. I didn't know so much about it. My grandpa, he was really into the Shadow and the Phantom. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how big the Shadow was back in the day. He was bigger than like he was bigger than like Batman and Superman and DC put together at one point.
I think the reason why we don't get a lot of Shadow movies or TV shows or anything like that. I mean, seriously, we haven't gotten a Shadow movie since the one with the Russell Mulcahy one with Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
and which I like. I think it's enjoyable. Yeah. I think the reason why we never get a Shadow movie or a TV series is the same reason we never get a Doc Savage movie or TV series, because that's another character that's just sitting there.
Yeah, The Rock almost played him too.
I know.
He was good. I would have been down with that.
I would have been down with that too. Absolutely. Yeah. Hell yeah. Right? The Man of Bronze. I think those are characters that you can't take out of their times.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean?
Because I've seen it done, and whenever it's done, whenever you take those characters out of that time period and you put them like in the modern day, it just doesn't work.
And also, like the modern day sucks balls. Like they do that. They do that with the Phantom a lot. You know what I mean? They made a modern day one with the visor, and then they did the cartoon. It's kind of cool, but it's kind of hard. Like, but I was saying one of the characters that probably you could do would be the Shadow, because I personally think he's a fucking force of evil. He's pure evil, and just like Dracula, like they're both evil. And
the Shadow isn't evil. He's justice. He just has a dark side.
Well, I think he's evil, and I think he that's why he goes after pure evil. That's just my opinion. But I think he's pure evil. He's pure evil, visited upon evil, and he's seeking justice against the evil.
Fighting evil with evil. Let's see.
You never know who he is. You never know who he is. And there's so many different parallel universes of the Shadow. He's Lamont, but then he's like, I think Kent Allard or something like that in the radio show. So there's different ones. There's so many different ones. But that's the way I see him. That's the way I see Dracula too. I think Dracula's pure.
Oh, Dracula's pure evil. I've always said that. That's why I can't stand when they romanticize him.
Oh yeah,
right. Like there's that scene in Bram Stoker's Dracula, which should be just called Francis Coppola's Dracula, where he's got Mina, played by the absolutely yummy Winona Ryder. And he and this is something that you see in Taste the Blood of Dracula, where he opens his shirt and he takes like his pinky nail, which is like a claw, and runs it down his chest and takes her face and brings it to the wound so that she can drink his blood, because that's how vampires are made. It's not in the novel. It's the victim of a vampire doesn't become a vampire. You have to drink the blood. You have to be bitten and to drink the blood, right? And in the novel, in the Coppola movie, it's like a love scene. In the novel, it's a rape scene.
Yeah.
Right? He's forcing her head down.
Yeah.
And she can't help. She's either going to drink his blood or she's going to suffocate.
Yeah, he's brutal. He's a fucking beast.
There's no love in Dracula. None whatsoever.
He's a monster, man. He's pure
evil.
He's a
monster. Pure evil. Absolutely. And he's not somebody that gives, he's somebody that takes.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to these wolves, which are very clearly German shepherds. Okay.
How about the same,
Now look at him. Does that look like a wolf? That looks like a good boy to me.
Hey, and Van Helsing was like, hey, he can control dogs. He did say dogs. He didn't say wolves.
Right. You're right.
He did damage control on that shit. He's like, I got you.
Yes. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I noticed that too. Yep. Very, very good. Yeah, very, very slick. So let's see. Yeah, so Harker gets taken to Dracula's castle. He gives this absolutely wonderful, captivating speech. One of the reasons why Christopher Lee is often left with so little dialogue and speaks so little in the Hammer movies is, especially the sequels, very often he doesn't even say a word at all, is because they would give him lines and he would refuse to read them.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
And so I'm sure must have driven Jimmy Sangster, the guy who wrote most of those movies, out of his fucking mind. But Christopher Lee was like encouraging them, like, go back to the novel. Take
I see.
Dialogue from the novel. And he said,
okay.
But they never did.
That makes sense.
And so here he actually gets to recite dialogue from the novel. And boy, does he go balls out. It's worth the price of admission just for the intensity that he brings to that scene. Yeah, here we are.
He's that's one of my favorite scenes in the book too, when he's talking about the blood of Attila runs in his veins.
The blood of Attila runs through these veins.
Yeah, so it's like, and that that's always like, oh, well, in the novel, is he a descendant of Attila the Hun or is he Vlad the Impaler? You know what I mean? Obviously,
well, you never really know. You never really know.
You don't know in Bram Stoker's, you know what I mean? The definitive novel,
Right. And so when people make him Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, it's him.
It's probably him.
Yeah, probably.
Here's one of the lines. Who was it but one of my own race who, as voivode, crossed the Danube and beat the Turk on his own ground? This was a Dracula indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Another thing that's really interesting that you'll notice in this close-up is Dracula is in the Hammer Dracula, the very first one, which is known as Dracula or Horror of Dracula.
Horror of Dracula.
Horror of Dracula is how it's best known in the States. That's the very first time that we see vampires with retractable fangs. Right? Whereas one minute he has normal teeth and then bing, out come the tent pegs. In the novel, Dracula doesn't have fangs that pop out. he's described as having abnormally long and pointy canines.
Yeah. He's like, what, dude? There's something wrong? I got something in my teeth? What are you looking at?
Right. And if you look at his teeth here, you can see
oh yeah,
one of the canines.
Little snaggle.
Exactly. So it's not something that you look at immediately and you go, dude, what's up?
Right.
Because I've seen people with elongated canines.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
It happens. And I've always been very jealous.
Right? So you got some bloodsucker right there.
Yeah, man. But yeah, Simon, of course. It's a big fan of the Shadow movie. Was good back then. He was evil. Being good is redemption. Yeah. Well, there's that wonderful moment where he's taken before a Dalai Lama-like character who tells him he's going to be redeemed. He's like, "What if I don't want to be redeemed?
I ain't looking for redemption.
Doesn't matter, bitch. Doesn't matter, bitch. You're going to be redeemed." And redemption is a very is a favorite theme of mine. As for Dracula, no redemption there, man. He's just an evil motherfucker. Here's another nice shot of him with Jonathan Harker. And you can see he looks exactly like the character. He's got the hair, he's got the stash.
You're not going to get a better Dracula for this.
You're not going to get a better Dracula.
Like he is the fucking part. You know what I mean?
Oh, without a doubt. And then you have crazy ass Klaus Kinsky as Renfield. Interesting thing in this, he doesn't have a single line of dialogue.
Yeah, I noticed that. Except for that one part when he falls out. I'm sorry, dude. This shit was funny as fuck. He's like, ah!
Well, you hear him screaming too.
That's
right.
You scream. He's like,
you hear him screaming like
the dummy.
Yeah. He lands hard too, boy. In this, Renfield. Klaus Kinsky. Oh boy, where do you start with Klaus Kinsky? Klaus Kinsky is one of those guys that these days, he would throw fits on movie sets. His conniption fits are the stuff of legend. He did a theater tour called Jesus Christus Erlöser, Jesus Christ the Redeemer. And it was like a one-man show. And people would show up just to fuck with them. Because there's a movie, there's a documentary, and you check that out, and there's a documentary about him also by Werner Herzog, who he made all of his best movies with, by his own admission. In fact, he felt that the only good movies he ever made were the movies that he made with Herzog. The fits that he would throw, and a lot of these were caught on the set, especially for Fitzcarraldo. Nowadays, people would be like, "Oh shit, man, Klaus is off his meds." Oh. Back then, there wasn't like bipolar or anything like that. You were just crazy,
right?
And yeah, his shit fits and the stories of his shit fits, like he would like lock himself in his bathroom for 3 days, and they finally got the door open, and everything in the bathroom, the sink, the mirror, the toilet, the bathtub, turned to powder.
Wow. That's some crazy shit right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So and he was the epitome of intensity, like probably maybe the most intense actor ever. And, he said in an interview, ich bin kein Schauspieler, ich bin das, which means I'm not an actor, I become that. And in this, he's becoming fucking Renfield. And he gives a really wonderful wordless performance.
Yeah, he looks good, like as a character too. Like he sells it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's sort of a pity. It's almost a pity he doesn't have any dialogue. We hear him screaming. Yeah. Like when we're in other parts of the clinic. We're, ah!
Yeah.
But it's totally incongruous. It doesn't fit with his performance at all. Yeah. Which is completely silent. He's just always brooding. Also, you know, when you talk about dedication to his craft, when he's like eating flies in this, he was eating flies.
He's doing that. The Tom Waits was doing that shit too, huh?
Was he?
Yeah, or he was sucking up some maggots or a worm or some shit. I think it was a maggot. Yeah, and Bram Stoker's.
Well, I mean, the thing that he wanted to do was, remember, he was catching the flies, and then he wanted a bird, and they gave him a bird, and then he fed the flies to the bird, and then he was asking for a kitten.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't give it to him, and then they find him in his cell, and there's blood and feathers everywhere. He's obsessed with like life devouring life, devouring life, devouring life, and then him devouring that.
Yeah.
And this, he's mostly a passive character. You know, he's not screaming and ranting and raving about, you know, the master comes. But an interesting piece of trivia is that he is the only actor who has played both Renfield and Dracula.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, he could definitely pull Dracula off. He's got the face for it for sure. Looks like a fucking vampire.
If you want to see him as Dracula, check out Werner Herzog's 1979 remake of Nosferatu.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Which is an amazing freaking movie.
I've seen part of that movie, yeah, and it's a really good fucking remake too.
Oh, it's astounding.
It's
astounding.
It's funny. Every fucking remake, they always get a good actor to play Max or Shrek or Vlad or whatnot. I forgot his name in the movie, but Defoe looked the part.
Count
this guy
Orlok.
looks the part. Count Orlok. That's right.
Yeah, which you know, is total bullshit. It's fucking Dracula, right?
Yeah.
The only reason they changed the name was because they were worried about copyright infringement, and then they got sued anyway by Bram Stoker's widow, and she won the lawsuit, and all copies of Nosferatu were ordered, burned.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Consigned to the flame, but luckily, you know, it survived and made its way down to us. The interesting thing about the Werner Herzog Nosferatu is that it's not one movie; it's actually two movies, because he and Bruno Ganz and Isabella Gianni all spoke English at that time. So he would do takes in German, and then he would do a take in English. So the English version isn't a dubbed version of the German version. It's actually a different movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so it's and they're both great, but and virtually indistinguishable, but they are different films. And you know, every version of it that I have has both. I would recommend the German version, mostly also just because it's in German, so it gives it this extra Welt, you know, this extra Weltanschauung, this extra weight to it, you know. Makes it a little more gothic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you can watch the English version too. It's superb. And then we have the lovely Soledad Miranda. And she plays Lucy Westrana. That's her on the right. And let me see, who was it that was playing? Yeah, I gotta check my IMDb. I know. I'm not gonna fake the funk here. If I have to look something up, I'm a fess up. Maria Rome. Soledad Miranda was an interesting person. Christopher Lee says that she is the only actress that he ever worked with that made him shudder. That, remember, he's Dracula here. He's supposed to be making her shudder.
He's all blushing and shit.
He said she was, I mean, obviously a very beautiful woman, right? Gorgeous. But he said that he worked with lots of beautiful women. He said there was something so smoking hot, caliente, about her that he was just like, oh, damn. Oh my God, this chick is hot. She's in a bunch of Jess Franco movies. She's in Vampiros Lesbos, which is a really good one. She Kills with Ecstasy. That's another good one. She had, unfortunately, a sad, tragic end. She was married to a race car driver, and he died in a car accident. And she never got over it, and I think killed herself. I think like pills and booze or something like that. Really, sad stuff. But yeah, there's this wonderful scene where Mina tracks Lucy when she's following Dracula's call, and you can't really see it, but you see just the very edge of her garment peeking out.
Yeah, I think he's there too. Like I was watching the scene, and he's there too. And I was thinking of the novel, because in this part in the novel, they're on the beach, and it's in a cemetery on the beach, and she just sees the shadow kind of come up, and there's the red eyes. And I was like, well, this is a way more gothic way to do it. And I'm rather than just having it. I mean, obviously it's a fucking cemetery in the book, but the way the columns look and the shadows, she goes through a church, a cathedral window with these gothic fencing. And I like the way they did it in here, probably maybe a little more than the novel, the way it was shot.
Oh, and then there's that's just a wonderful scene, right? And then his shadow appears and it disappears. Yeah. It's one of the highlights of the movie. Another one is when Dracula's brides rise from their graves.
Oh yeah.
From their coffins. And it's a really funky ghostly scene because they're transparent.
Yeah.
Right? As they're rising from their graves. So it's a very simple special effect. It's known as a dissolve. And but it's incredibly effective. So it's like, so there's sort of like they're rising from their graves, and there's something immaterial about them. Then they come across Jonathan Harker, and that's another wonderful scene in the novel where he's I think asleep on a couch, and they're all gathered around him and like, oh, doesn't he look cute? Oh, doesn't he look yummy? Don't you just want to eat him up? And so he's just like keeping his eyes closed, and he's just like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I'm going to be in a foursome. Right. And of course, then it doesn't work out that way, and they're about to sink their fangs into him. And talking about Dracula's evil, there's that scene that you don't see in a lot of these movies, where this woman is like banging on the doors because Dracula took her child, took her baby.
Yeah.
And so these bitches are about to feast on Jonathan Harker, and he shoves them away, and he's like, no, he's mine. Hands off. And they're like, well, what are we going to eat? And he points his finger over to the corner where we see something wriggling in a bag and the sounds of a baby crying, and they just pounce on that thing.
We got some spamming in the chat. Damn.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Is there any way? Oh, hey.
Hey, what's up, Pops?
Love me some Pops. Yeah, let me see. Block user. There we go.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Although it's a bot, we can't really insult it or hurt its feelings.
I am gay porn bot. Fuck you.
But yes, a lot of great moments. Here, of course, we finally get to see Dracula in his finished form, and there is that transition. He does go from like complete gray to salt and pepper, and then of course eventually
Mac Daddy mode.
Mac Daddy mode.
He's got the stash and everything.
Got the stash and everything, and
bitches.
That's you can't ask bitches. You cannot ask for a better Dracula.
Bitches leave.
Yeah. Bitches leave.
Dracula.
Well, I always called him, Pimpula because he does have a stable, right? He does have a stable and all that. Oh yeah, and this is a great shot too when Mina's at the opera, and she's in her box and she's watching the opera, and then suddenly, over her shoulder, up in the upper right, we see Dracula's face. Now, Franco makes a mistake here and he zooms in on him, whereas many years later 9 years later, John Carpenter did Halloween and knew like it's better if you just keep that in the background.
Yeah.
But
this scene isn't in the book, is it? In the opera?
No.
I'll say this is the liberty they took. But you got
Because what are you going to do? You're going to do if you're adapting a novel, any novel, you're going to do some condensing.
Yeah.
And that's why Carfax Abbey is right across the street from Van Helsing's clinic.
Right.
Right. And it works. It works.
Yeah,
it makes perfect sense. It's not like when it comes to the art of adaptation, anybody who's done it will tell you it's all about preserving the spirit of the book rather than the literal.
There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way you could do it. You can't translate anything into a movie 100%. I don't care if it's a video game or a fucking comic or a book. No fucking way.
Yes.
You can't capture all those milliseconds in an emotion of a face or anything like that. You know what I mean? You have to adapt it.
Yes, but you're always going to have some whiny motherfuckers. Like before the Lord of the Rings movies came out, I remember thinking, it doesn't matter how good these are, and because I was expecting them to be really good because Peter Jackson was doing them. And I thought, oh my God, they got this really interesting indie horror movie director, the guy who did Dead Alive and Meet the Feebles. What the fuck, right? This is, at the very least, it's going to be, even if it's a mess, it's going to be an interesting mess. But you knew that there were some people that didn't matter how good those movies were, they were going to be like, I don't like it because Tom Bombadil is in it. Tom Bombadil,
where the fuck's Bombadil at?
Fuck off.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the story. Doesn't move the story forward at all.
We're going to have them come in there with some fucking cheese or something in the middle of the forest when they're fucking drinking water. You guys want some of this? Like, you want to buy some? I don't fucking know, man. It's just...
And he's a character. I don't even know that he even belongs in that book. He's just like this big stinky hippie.
Yeah, maybe he was just smoking some hash, like a little too many. Maybe the bowls were too fat when he was writing that character, and just like, what would be good right here? Let's throw this in here.
Oh my God, yeah. Tom Bombadil's been eating too many mushrooms. But yeah, it's just like one of those characters that's totally superfluous. It's just like, get to the story, move the story forward. Yeah. Because if you're going to do like an exact adaptation, it's going to be boring as hell. Yeah. There have been other relatively faithful adaptations of Dracula. There's a BBC version with Frank Finlay as Van Helsing and Louis Jordan.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
It's good. And then there was the Dan Curtis version with Jack Palance.
I've seen parts of that one back in the day.
That's also on Tubi. What's interesting about that one is that it has a screenplay by Richard Matheson, and he's the one who introduced that element of Dracula looking for his lost love and finding his lost love in Mina Harker.
It's kind of cool, though. I mean, I kind of like that a little bit. It makes it less scary, but
yes,
it's kind of cool. But I don't know. That might just be me because because Bram Stoker's Dracula is in my top favorite. It's my favorite movie.
Really?
That RoboCop and Conan the Barbarian, John Milius, they're all just tied. Those are my favorite movie. It's obviously
excellent choices.
Movies,
throw in it.
But those are the three.
Throw in Escape from New York and Mad Max and You and a Cupid Doll.
I don't have one favorite. There's just too many fucking movies. That's why I'm like, yes. I just put them all on a line and just shoot them. You know what I mean? They're all equal.
When it comes to like deciding what my favorite movies are, I'm like, okay, what do I own in like every format?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I got a bunch of those. I had these big ass movie cards. They were called movie cards. When the movie came out, I was way too fucking young to watch it. I was in like 4th grade and I fucking accidentally seen the movie. And I got these big movie cards. I still got the making of the movie, Bram Stoker's. I got both. I have 2 DVDs and the fucking special edition of it. So, and I've seen the movie 1,000. Not 1,000 times. I've probably seen it probably about 50 times.
All right.
So,
all right. Hold on a second. If you hear something crash, that's me calling ambulance. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just talk to these fools, or like rap, or like
beatbox,
scat.
Oh snap! What's up, Frankie Nose? Hey guys. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. This one got away from me. Yeah, Frankie, this is a great Dracula movie. It's very faithful to the novel, Bram Stoker's, and Christopher Lee looks the part 100% for the most part. You know, in the novel, I don't think they really describe exactly he's wearing in the beginning of the book when you see him for the first time, other than the stagecoach driver. But they say he's clad in black, and Christopher Lee's in here. He's basically wearing a black suit. And yeah, the movie it basically follows the book almost to a T, and there's some deviations. But yeah, highly recommend this movie. Definitely check it out.
Oh hey, yeah, Frank. What up, Frankie? Click the link down in the description, and you can watch it for free on Tubi.
That's what's up.
I don't know that people even know what Tubi is.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was until you told me. But and there's so much shit out there, and there's another Pluto. That's another one. You know what I mean?
Yep. Plex. Right. So, when I came up with the idea for this stream, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if I could make it so that all the movies are readily accessible?
Yeah,
so people don't have to go out and rent them. People don't have to have a Prime or Netflix or Shudder subscription. They can just click on the link and watch the movie.
Yeah.
Do you have this?
What the fuck? No, I do not have that.
You do not have that.
What is that? The costumes, huh?
It's the costumes.
Forgot her name. Mirko, I think her name is.
Aiko Ishioka.
Yeah, I gotta get that, man.
I'll send it to you, brother.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Shoot me your address, and
damn.
I'll mail this bitch to you.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You know, hell yeah, man.
I like giving shit away.
Because
it's just sitting over there collecting dust. You're like, it's your favorite movie, so I'm a hook you up. But
what else I got? I got the comic book adaptation of it by Mike Mignola too, in black and white. And I got,
wow, I've never seen that. I remember hearing about
awesome,
it, but I never
dude.
saw
I've been waiting forever to get it, and I have it in the other room, but it's hardcover. I got it last year for Christmas, man. I remember my birthday. I don't remember, but yeah, man, it's fucking bad. And he actually worked on the movie. There's interviews of Mike Mignola, like Ford Coppola brought him over to help him work with him on some of the designs of the movie, some of the artistic choices. No fucking shit. And he's like, yeah, I don't know if they used. He's like, I heard him in an interview. He's like, yeah, I don't know if they used what I did, but they invited me over there, and I met Mignola. He's a cool guy, dude. He's one of my big influences too. Just the shadow drops in his art alone, dude. It's fucking German impressionistic, but anyways, yeah, the what he did for that was awesome. Oh wait, Frankie Knows just said, I just found out Richard Matheson wrote the script to The Last Man on the Earth, used a pen name because he didn't like the finished product. I liked it.
I like it too. I mean, it's an adaptation of I Am Legend. It's the first adaptation of I Am Legend, and when it comes to the zombie movies, it's like I was just watching the first season of The Walking Dead the other day with a friend of mine who'd never seen it before, hosted by Joe Bob Briggs, which is awesome. And there was a moment where I was just like, man, this is just there's our everybody. Wait, it's not even a link.
What the fuck?
You are a shit. You are that's a shitty fucking bot right there.
Get out of here with this shit.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, no, I was watching a scene and I was thinking yeah, that's going all the way back to it's when the black dude and his son are holed up in their house.
Yeah.
And his wife is walking around as one of the zombies. I mean, that's right out of that's very I Am Legend. Those of you who have never read that novel, go and find it. It's one of those novels that can never be long enough.
I heard it's good.
It's
really
amazing. Good. It's amazing. And let me tell you, it's as you get closer to the ending, you're going to start reading it really slowly.
Oh man,
because you're just going to want it to keep going.
I'm reading 2 books right now, and then I'm also reading a bunch of indie and Comicsgate books, and then I'm working on my own. So I'll have to get in there and get that too. It's crazy when you got all these fucking worlds going on in your head. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
And you're like, and for me, I have to like keep reading the book, like at least read a page a day. That way I don't lose what's going on in the story.
Right.
That book is tops.
Which one are you thinking of?
Oh, Frankie says, sorry, that book is tops. I was thinking of because he said that too. I was also thinking of the Dracula one. I think Tops is the company that published.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The Dracula one,
right?
And they have a color one. I got the black and white. I got the black and white one, and I would prefer it in black and white.
Hell yeah. I am a big black and white guy. I love black and white comics. Like there are a lot of people that are offering color and black and white editions of their books. Like Joe Ball, for instance, Death. Yeah. He's got that in color. Fuck that. I do not want that in color. Even though the colors are beautiful, right? And and it preserves all his line work and everything. It's just like, no, that was meant to be in black and white.
No, I hear you.
My man Ollie from 656, he's like the colorist from 656. He took a look at Dario's art from Cryptidnals and was like, no color.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I want you to color it, dude. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, that doesn't get any color. That needs to be stay black and white. And when your colorist is telling you like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they look at the rights and stuff, dude. You know what I mean? They put flats on a lot of his shit. I mean, that's almost kind of bastardizing some of his stuff. Just even putting flats on it and color holds or whatnot. You know what I mean? It just kind of needs to. It's like, dude. Oh, Frankie said, "I am legend." I meant cool by saying Tops. He was
right. That's what I thought you meant, Frankie. That's what I thought you meant, bruh.
That was me. It was my dumb ass.
Yeah, but then I have a vague recollection that Tops was making comic books, and they must have put out the Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, it all just kind of the Mike Mignola thing. Like, it's like something that I'd forgotten. Like, I never had it. I have a vague recollection of it actually existing, like seeing it like online or somewhere. I don't think I saw it in real life. Otherwise, I would have grabbed that shit.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Oh man, I can imagine. All right. So I'm thinking, let's wrap it up. Overall attitude towards Count Dracula.
I mean, for me, like you're talking to the guy that loves Dracula, and this was awesome, bro. I really liked it. I liked seeing Christopher Lee play like a really close adaptation of the Bram Stoker's novel character of Dracula. So definitely check it out. It feels a lot like in some ways like Bram Stoker's. You know what I mean? Some of the vibes like that. Obviously, it's not, but I like that a lot too about it, dude. So it was fun. I've been wanting to watch this, and definitely Two Horns way up.
Yeah, I don't know that I would recommend it to somebody that's like a casual horror fan. But I would definitely. But if you're a horror fan and you're a Dracula fan and you're a Christopher Lee fan,
just like
you need to be all over this.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think we should do next week? We should probably do something that doesn't have vampires in it, because I was like looking at all the movies that we've done previously in the last few weeks, and they're all vampire movies. But then again, right off the top of my head, no.
I got one, but
all right. All right. What you got?
It's a big one, but I never watched it.
Okay.
And I've seen it a million times at the video store as a kid. I'm trying to think of movies that I've seen on VHS covers at 99-cent only video or Blockbuster. Basket Case.
Oh, Basket Case. Let's see if we can watch. All right, let me check real quick. You've never seen Basket Case? Interesting.
He's like,
yeah, there. Oops, there it is. Yep, yeah, it's on Tubi.
You want to do it or what?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Without a doubt, I haven't seen that in ages. Oh man, they got the stuff. They got Phantasm 2. They got Friday the 13th. They got the original Phantasm. They got Black Christmas. Original Black Christmas, not woke Black Christmas, by the way.
And there's, hey, dude,
Sleepaway Camp.
There's 3 versions of Black Christmas now. There's the second remake, and I never seen the first one. I never seen the original.
No, me neither.
I saw the second, like I saw the remake, not the new one that just came, not woke Christmas, But I like that fucking remake. I really like that movie, dude. I like
Really? The first remake.
The first remake. I like that shit, dude. Because I never seen the original. You know what I mean? They fucked up. Or I did.
Oh, the original's amazing. The original is really like what started the whole slasher thing.
Yeah, that's what I hear, and it's like a big influence on so many fucking movies. And I'm just like, well, I gotta go, you know. But I liked the villains in there. I like what they did with the villains and the whole. They're fucking gross and scary. And you've seen it, right?
What, the remake of Black Christmas?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Not the first one. I've only seen woke Black Christmas.
Well, maybe we could watch that one later and talk about it because there's some cool shit in there.
Well, I was enjoying the show, but before you close, I had to come in here and show you something, Brian.
Oh, please, dude, please. And I apologize for not having Nat the Merc or Tales from the Natverse ready and available. I made a mental note. Ooh, what you got there? Oh yeah,
Goldorak.
The sequel. They made a sequel in comic book, and I talked with the creators.
Yes.
And he told me that they're gonna have an English version by next year.
Nice.
So you're gonna have a Grandizer. I don't know if they're gonna leave it at Grandizer because of rights or something, but it's coming. So it's actually right after the series. You have a little recap in the intro, like a written recap of the series, and then it's the conclusion. It's like the sequel.
Sweet. Sam, how you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great. My books is getting everywhere, and I'm here. And I'm here to show stuff to Brian. Give me a sec. Just 1 second, Matt. Just 1 second.
You got it, man. I'm not enough.
Yeah. But
so good.
Look at Brian's face right now. Look at his face. Look what came out.
Ooh.
The second cycle. Remember when I told you there was the new French the new French issues?
Oh.
Now they're in English.
Oh.
I got it from Amazon. You have it. It's the Meta Baron's second cycle, and it's on special.
I think I just came in my pants. It's busted a nut. Oh, dude.
Look at the art of Sachet. There's two artists in there. There's there's Henrichon and Vincent Sachet. Henrichon, it's a guy from Montreal, Quebec, who did Doctor Strange from Marvel.
No shit.
Yeah.
God damn, man.
Matt, it's not as good, but it's good.
Right. And now we're gonna have an Inkle movie.
Yes, by Taika Waititi.
Oh,
yeah.
Which I'm pretty like. So, dude, so far what I've seen from him, I enjoyed. You know what I mean? Like, even if I have problem with Thor Ragnarok, I enjoyed the fun. Like, it was a great show. You had the Kirby feel to it. Like, it had something. Thor wasn't Thor though, but I could put that to the agenda.
And went out like bitches.
We could put that to Marvel, right? With Valkyrie being,
If you judge it on its own, it's perfectly fine fun.
I like what lies beyond the shadow. Is that it? The movie?
Oh no! What we do in the shadows?
What we do in the shadows? That was freaking amazing.
That movie's fucking awesome.
Like, so far, everything I've seen from him, I've enjoyed. Like, movie wise, like it's well made, it's well done. It's like, but dude, it's freaking Inkle. And I don't know if you saw the video, but Jodorowsky says it that he took the time to pick the perfect, and he's gonna be attached to it.
Nice. Because, like he said, he's like, I'm too old. He's like, I'm 91 years old. I can't direct a freaking movie. It's exhausting directing a movie.
And hopefully we'll get the Meta Baron after.
Oh, wow. Oh, that would be so awesome. Because, I mean, that's such unmined material.
So that's what I came to tease.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
But go get it on Amazon, dude. It's really worth it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry, Matt. What's up, Matt?
What's up, man? I'm just,
See, I'm having a brew.
Oh, no shit. What are you drinking over there?
Oh, that's a Guinness.
Ooh, nice. They got,
my favorite.
Yeah, they got some nice Guinness out there.
I rarely drink, but, that's why I decided to drop by. I'm like, I just finished having some tacos. I'm like, I'm having a beer. I'm like, I'll just drop in for a few minutes.
Hold on.
I had a little rye from Jack Daniels, just a tiny little bit. I just put a cube in there and just filled it up halfway to the cube. And I usually do about 3 beers a week, or I kind of regulate it, but that's cool, man. I love Guinness.
Yeah, me too. So far, two of my favorite beers, it's that and Ricker's Red. I don't know if you guys know that one.
No, I've never tried it. Rickart's Red.
The red beer. Yeah, they're just
That sounds bomb, man.
man.
Oh man, how's Wolf Dragon coming along?
Slowly but surely.
I can't wait, man.
Right now, the Mona started on my Patreon.
Nice.
Yeah, I have the first 2 pages up, but that's the story that brings back, technically that links back to bringing back Wolf Dragon. But I found the original 23 pages. Hell yeah!
Check out that sketch card. How beautiful is that?
That's badass.
All right, let me close the screen.
I can't wait for them sketch cards, Sim.
I love the smoke is done in whiteout.
Oh, that's badass.
Master of Sim, of course, being a master of negative space.
Since there's also like some people will get some pencil ones because some people mentioned that they really like my pencil.
Oh hell yeah,
that's awesome. Ooh, look at that! It's shiny, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's shiny. It's colorful.
Spare no expense, and it's like I said. If you look at the bind, dude, it's sewed. Like
wow.
Saddle stitched.
Yeah, no, it's not saddle stitch. It's when they instead of just gluing, they fold, they stitch. Yeah,
That's your printer too.
They call it German bind, but there's another name. I just forgot what it is.
That's your printer too, right, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Over there. That's
yep.
Yeah. That's
so that means this isn't going to happen to it.
Oh, damn.
Exactly.
Hey, do you know that Bram Stoker's I think it was his great grandkid. They wrote a sequel to Bram Stoker's Dracula recently, like in the last decade.
Well, Clint Stoker is related to Bram Stoker. Did you know that?
No. Well, I mean, I know it's a joke, but I didn't know if it was real or not. But
no, it's real. He actually checked. Yeah. He checked.
For me, the best part of Bram Stoker Dracula, the movie, do you know what it is?
Yeah.
What's that?
The storyboards.
Oh.
Do you know who that is? Do you know who storyboarded the entire movie?
Oh.
You can find the comic book by him. It's
Mike Mignola. Oh, okay.
Mignola did the. Oh wow! No shit! Fucking A. He's one of those guys that thank goodness we didn't completely lose him to Hollywood. Like Michael Plug, for instance. Like Mike Plug is my favorite comic artist of all time. I wouldn't say he's the greatest. I would say he's my personal favorite.
What do you mean we lost him to Hollywood?
Because he ended up being just a storyboard artist. And stopped doing comics for decades and decades and decades because he felt that his work sucked, and he wanted to go somewhere where he could make a living as an illustrator, but nobody would have to look directly at his work.
That makes sense.
Which is sad, because he would be in the bullpen at the Marvel bullpen, and some of the old timers would come over and they would be like, hey, I read that Man thing that you just did the other day. That's really good. It's good stuff, kid. And he'd be like, oh, they're just being nice. But, that's... the
stickers.
Yeah.
Oh, and for people that are listening and you guys, when you get the stickers, they're the same stickers that, by the Diaz brothers. One of the things is if you take them out and if the paper follows, don't panic. They're vinyl. So you just create a little bit on the side, and then you can separate it. It's not ruined if the paper follows. It's vinyl.
By the way, I'm one of those guys. I know some people, they get their books, they don't use the stickers, they don't use any of that stuff because they want to keep that shit pristine for collectability. I say fuck that. I just stick it on my computer.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Brian,
you guys both you guys.
But yeah, there you go. Hell yeah, Sim. Hell yeah. But dude. Congrats. Oh, I got a fucking camera. Congratulations, dude. The book looks fantastic.
Thanks.
It looks beautiful. I can't wait to sit down and read this tonight.
Hell yeah, man.
Two sides. Anyway, folks, we're going to call it a night. I will post a link. If you want to see Count Dracula, the movie that we're talking about, that is in the description below. And next week, we are doing Frank Henenlotter's Basket Case, which has an odd connection to a recent movie that we can't even mention the title of because that would be dropping a spoiler.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, peace and love, everybody. Stay scared, and if you're not scared